Happy Monday, said no one ever. But we got a 9-game slate. Let's talk some basketball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we're back with another full week of NBA action. Like I mentioned, we got a nice 9-game slate today. This weekend was a solid 7-4 winning weekend. We'll take it. Had a nice 2-0 on Sunday to wrap it up. Hopefully that's the beginning of a nice little hot streak here. But we'll go over the recap in just a little bit. Quick reminder, Monday Night Football Best Bets video is out now. I give my 2 best bets for the Eagles and Packers game, so be sure to check it out. But, of course, any graphics you see in this video are from Outlier, the best betting research tool on the market today. I use this every day for every single sport. Click that link below in the description. Get a 7-day free trial. So let's get it rolling. I got a little dad joke to start your week, so here we go. I just bought a new car for my wife. It's the best trade I've ever made. Love you, honey. Just joking. In this video, we're going to recap the weekend, and then I'm going to talk defenses versus the the point guard position. Sorry, they give up the most points, rebounds, and assists, and also the least points, rebounds, and assists. And then I'm going to talk about the top 20 potential assist leaders in the NBA to give you some more info. I'm going to go over some leans, give you a couple best bets. Right now, there's not a ton of props open, so I really don't want to force too much the night before. We'll hit it hard in the morning again, but I'll give you a couple best bets, and then, of course, we'll finish it with the recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Come join this great community we have here, and I am ready to get it rolling. And that means it's recap time. All right, there it is. A nice 7-4 weekend. Started with a 3-2 Friday. Jaylen Brown got the job done easy. Scored over 30. Giannis, he was awful shooting. I mean, he kept missing layup after layup, but because his usage is so high, he went over this in the fourth quarter. Sar under 16.5 points. Unfortunately, Kaishan George got ruled out with a sickness the morning of, and he just became really aggressive. He played well, too, so just the loss there. Bad read. Brandon Ingram over 5.5 rebounds. What a cash by him. Last, 30 seconds, picks up his 6th rebound for a winner. And then Cooper Flagg actually hooked us the other way with 6 rebounds. Really slow start, and then they got blown out because the Mavericks are horrendous. Saturday, Josh Giddey under 19.5 points. Nice winner there. He missed some quite a bit of shots. Actually had some high volume. Siakam under 26.5 points. Never a doubt on that one. That was sweat-free. Trey Murphy under 25.5 PRAs. Sweat-free. Played his best game of the year. Absolutely demolished this line. Terrible read. DeAndre Ayton over 25.5 PRAs. He was well on his way at halftime, but that was the game, if you guys remember, on Saturday. The Lakers got blown out. I mean, crushed. I think it was by the Atlanta Hawks. They were favorites in that game. Predicting blowouts is just as hard as anything else. And then Sunday, we ended with a nice 2-0 day. Jaylen Brown over 31.5 PRs, a nice 3-ball with a few minutes left to get 32 clutched up. Jalen Brunson under 25.5 points. Big reason I made that bet was because I had a feeling that was going to be a massive blowout, and luckily it was. I don't think he played 1 second in the fourth quarter, and he cashes the under. Doesn't even get to 20 points. So there it is. Under tracker, under on player props, now 5-6 overall. Season record. As you guys know, we've done a lot of half-unit plays. You'll see a couple more today, but we're going to be digging more into 1-unit plays as we have more data and all that this week. Hoping to make a nice move, get a little hot streak rolling. So that's what we got for the bets recap. Now let's talk the point guards. All right, we start with the defenses giving up the most points to the point guard position. Now, this usually lasts 30 days, which just means it's this season overall. But the Magic and the Blazers, and by the way, if the team or players in green, that just means they're playing today. And then we got a few matchups. But Magic, 30.6 points per game given up to point guards. Blazers, 30.12. They are not doing well. But we got a matchup. Pelicans facing Devin Booker, 29.3 points per game. Pelicans giving up right around 29 as well. The Bulls down there facing De'Aaron Fox. Again, that's just one game that he's played, but 24 points per game. Bulls giving up almost 27. And then the Wizards facing Cade Cunningham. As you see there, Wizards giving up a little bit more than his average per game. And then over there on the right side, obviously, LaMelo Ball is questionable to play, but he's there, number 9. And Luka, the man, averaging 37 points per game. Just insane. But that's what we got for the points. Take a screenshot. Now let's check out the rebounds. We got no matchups. A lot of people playing, a lot of teams playing here, though, in the top 10. Heat giving up the most rebounds to point guards. Mavericks, Clippers, Hawks. Then you see Luka over there again, and Josh Giddey and LaMelo Ball. Josh Giddey also questionable. Again, this is a tough slate. Still a lot of question marks on who's playing, who's not. But Amen Thompson, playing some shooting guard, small forward. He plays all over. I'm going to count him as a point guard because that's what he's played the most of so far. I know they inserted Kogi into the lineup at point also. But Drew Holiday, 5.3 rebounds per game, always been a good rebounding guard. And then Cade Cunningham down there at 4.8. So that's what we got for the rebounds. Now let's check out the dimes. We got the Clippers giving up the most assists to the point guard position. Knicks, Jazz, Heat, and Rockets round out the top 5. But we got 2 matchups. Wizards playing Cade Cunningham, 9.7 assists, giving up 9.5 per game. And then Lakers around 9.5 per game, giving up. LaMelo Ball averaging just under 10 assists per game. You see Luka up there, Giddey, all the same guys. So that's what we got for any overs. If you're looking at some unders, here are the teams giving up the fewest points, rebounds, and assists to point guards. Again, if it's in green, that means they are playing today. Thunder, we know we've cashed some unders on that one. They are just elite versus that point guard position. 76ers, Cavs playing today have done really well. Surprisingly, you're going to see the Hornets. They are top 7 in all of it. 5th in points per game allowed, 6th in rebounds allowed, 7th in fewest assists allowed. Pretty surprising there, that's for sure. But you see the Blazers, Raptors, Pacers over there in the top 3 for fewest assists allowed to point guards. The Raptors were kind of like that last year. Also the Pacers, and you see the Pacers have actually given up a lot of points to point guards, not a lot of assists because, well, they don't overhelp. They don't leave their guys leave wide open shots. They kind of just play more one-on-one with the point guards. So that's kind of why you see, it's kind of correlated sometimes. You give up a lot of points, but maybe not a lot of assists. But anyways, that's what we got for the point guard position today. Now let's talk some potentials. All right, here we go. I do not have a name for this segment yet, but hoping to do this once a week. Just talk potential assists per game. Maybe we'll do it every other week. Just kind of let you guys know, who has a ton of volume and potential assists. Maybe who's getting unlucky. Because again, we've talked about it before. You expect around 50 to 55, maybe 60% of your potential assists should be converted into assists. Obviously, star players and different guys have a little different ones, but that's not all point guards here. This is just anybody. As you see, Jokic is averaging the most potential assists per game at 19.2, converting that into 12. You'll see Cade, Ja Morant up there as well. You see Luka converting a high number. I mean, 9.5 assists at 15.8 potential assists. Trae Young obviously been hurt for a few games now. And James Harden down there converting 9.1 of his 14.3. That's quite a bit. You see Giannis, the big man, handling the ball more. Over there on the right side, Josh Giddey, over 9 assists of his 13.8 potential assists. Pretty high mark there. But then you go to SGA of the Thunder, number 14. He only has 6 assists per game on 13.4 potentials. You expect a little bit more than that, from him, at least around maybe 6.5, 7 or something, maybe even more than that, based on what we've seen, obviously, from him last year as well. But D. Mitchell, that's Davion Mitchell, not Donovan Mitchell, having a good season with assists as well. And then you go down there to the bottom. Donovan Mitchell, you got to remember, he was playing point guard a lot. Darius Garland is now back in the lineup, so it changes things. But Pascal Siakam, only 5.8 assists on 12.3 potentials. That's not crazy. That's pretty close to 50%, and he's obviously not a true point guard, or not a point guard at all. He's a power forward. But anyways, and then you got Şengün, obviously there, baby Jokic averaging 7.4 dimes on 12.3 potentials. So again, hopefully this helps you out with the volume, kind of where they're at. Maybe some guys are getting unlucky. Maybe some guys are, getting a little too many assists, and it's not really sustainable. But just want to give you some more info and help you guys out. So that's what we got for all the research help. Now it's time for some leans. All right, like I mentioned earlier, just not a ton of props out right now and a lot of injuries, question marks, so I'm not going to force 3 or 4 bets. I do have a couple best bets, but let's talk about a couple leans. And again, these may be added in the morning. I just didn't want to give out bets just because there's only a few props out. But the first one, Evan Mobley over 17.5 points. I like this one. This is a matchup of 2 of the top 10 fastest paced teams in the NBA, and the Cavs and the Heat. Yes, Garland is back. Obviously, that's why this number's a little low, but you know what? Mobley has a great matchup here. Bam Adebayo is going to be out, so I don't think Miami has anybody who has the size and athleticism to match with him. If you see Khalil Ware on him, he's not going to be able to keep up with him quickness-wise and all that. But his minutes and volume, obviously steady. Over this in 7 of 10 games already, averaging 20 points per game, averaging 33 minutes per game, 15 field goal attempts. In a fast-paced game, I think it's just going to be a tough match for them. Heat are about average versus power forwards this year, but again, that's with Bam in the lineup. So I like Mobley to have a good game, maybe get to 20 here. Second one, Mark Williams, the center for the Suns, over 13.5 points, playing consistent minutes right now. Since his minutes went up, he's over this line in 4 of the last 7, coming off a 19-point game and actually a tougher matchup versus the Clippers. He's a guy who scores via the pick and roll, offensive rebounds, putbacks, things like that, a lot around the hoop, obviously, alley-oops. And you know what? He's facing the Pelicans, bottom 7 team in points in the paint allowed. They're also one of the worst teams in points allowed to the pick and roll big man. This is a great matchup for him. Expecting around 27 to 29 minutes here. So I think he can get 15 plus points here. Third one. Blazers on the money line. That's right, our wagon from last year. I think getting a rested Blazers team versus this tired, struggling Magic team is kind of nice. They're actually plus 2.5. I like them just on the money line. But Magic have the 19th best net rating so far. Blazers have the 13th best net rating. Orlando just super inconsistent. I've watched them too much this year because I actually thought they were going to be decent to start the year, and they're not. Desmond Bane is not fitting in so far. Again, he could be later. It's a long season. Boncaro shows he's a star sometimes, and then some other times he just doesn't show up. And they just kind of go in these lulls. It's just really bizarre watching them. I do expect them to improve as the year goes on, but right now they're just not a great team. Portland, a well-balanced team. Obviously, Drew Holiday running the show. Jeremy Grant playing great off the bench with bringing in a lot of scoring. So I think the Blazers are just the better team as of right now. Will they be by the end of the year? Probably not, maybe, but we'll see. You never know. But I do think they're deeper, the better team. You could take the plus 2.5, like I mentioned, but I like the Blazers to get the job done here as the more rested team. So those are my 3 leans I got so far for today. But now it's time for the best bets. All right, this first one takes us out to Detroit, Michigan, where the Pistons host the Washington Harry Potters. Pistons minus 11.5. Total in this one is 235.5. It's kind of ugly, but give me the Pistons minus 11.5, minus 110 on BetMGM. I got it for a half unit. Honestly, this would be a 1 unit play if it wasn't just, a second night of a back-to-back. But I will say this first. Yes, it is the second night of a back-to-back. Some of these Pistons guys played big minutes, but I've made bets because I've wanted to tail teams that are facing other teams on a second night of a back-to-back, and it hasn't mattered much. I've lost that way as well, so I'm not going to put too much into it early in the season on a back-to-back here. Again, maybe the Pistons come out and just have tired legs and are brutal, but as you guys know, I lost fading the Pelicans when the Pelicans were on the second night of a back-to-back, so who knows anymore. But now, let's talk Detroit. They've been playing really good ball lately, sitting at 7-2 on a 6-game winning streak, 6th best net rating in the NBA this season, 2nd best offensive rebounding team in the NBA behind Houston at 36.2% offensive rebound percentage. We'll go over that in a second, but they've taken care of business versus bottom feeders like the Wizards. Beat the Jazz by 11, Mavs by 12. Yes, I'm calling them a bottom feeder right now. Beat the Nets by 18 and then beat the struggling Magic team by 19 points. Now the Wizards. I mean, they suck. They're just not good. They come in with a 1-9 record, the worst net rating in the NBA. Now let's talk about how bad they are getting beat. The one win was against another bottom feeder in Dallas. Of their 9 losses, 7 of those 9 were by 13 or more points, losing by an average of 17 points per game in those losses. They had a 6-point loss to the awful Mavericks team, so they played them twice already. Somehow lost by 5 to the 76ers. They just scored quite a few points in that game. But Wizards team is a bottom 10 rebounding team. They're going to struggle here versus Detroit. Jalen Duren could have a really good game here. I expect a lot of second chance points, a lot of rebounds here by Detroit. And as for Washington, I don't see many second chance points. But Wizards have only played 4 road games this year. They're 1-3, only win beating the Mavericks, only win of the year. Wizards also going to be without Koulibaly in this game. That matters a little bit, obviously. They don't have a lot of talent in general. So I just don't see how Washington consistently scores on this third-ranked defense for Detroit. As long as they don't just come out massively, sluggish and whatever about it, because it's the second night of a back-to-back, I think the Pistons should take care of business. I mean, it's not even close on these teams. I think Pistons on just a normal day should win by 15 plus every single time. So give me the Pistons minus 11.5 as my first best bet. All right, this second one takes us out to Chicago, where the Bulls host the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs minus 3.5. Total is 234.5. I got a player prop. I wanted to make it 1 unit, but it's only his second game of the season. It's probably not a smart move. Give me De'Aaron Fox over 19.5 points, minus 107 on DraftKings. I think it's a good buy low spot, even though he's only played 1 game. He's coming back from injury, obviously, but he played 30 minutes in that game and then sat last game. Again, 30 minutes is great to see. He's not being held back. They wanted to make sure when he came back, he was ready to roll. And if you guys know De'Aaron Fox, he's usually a guy that has a points line in the mid-20s. Obviously, he's not on the Kings anymore, but in that 1 game versus the Pelicans, he played, scored 24 points, going 9 of 14 shooting, got to the free throw line 5 times, went 2 of 5 from deep. Everything, whenever you watch him play, he looked ready to roll. Last season, he scored 22 plus points in 6 of the 7 games he played with Wemby, averaged 17.4 field goal attempts per game in those 7. And then I love the matchup. In the last 3 games he's played against the Bulls, how about 41, 20, and 26? Again, all with Sacramento. I get it. but still just him against the Bulls. As you saw earlier, Bulls have given up the 8th most points to the point guard position. Bulls have also given up the 8th most field goals made to the point guard position. Fox is just too quick. He can score on Giddey if Giddey even plays. And all these Bulls perimeter defenders, I just think he's too quick, and he'll be able to score here. Recent point guards versus the Bulls. Rollins 20 points. That's right. Maxey 39. Brunson 31 and 29 in those 2 games. So the Bulls are playing at the 6th fastest pace. That's what you like to see. It plays right into De'Aaron Fox's strengths, in my opinion, with how quick he is. So give me Aaron over 19.5 points. That is my second, again, and final best bet. I'm going to have at least 2 added plays in the morning. Just the books are super slow to drop a lot of these props out, and I'm not trying to force some bets out when half the league doesn't even have props yet. So that's what I got for tonight. Before we get out of here, let's check out the recap. All right, there it is. The 2 best bets so far: Pistons minus 11.5, minus 110 for a half unit, and De'Aaron Fox over 19.5 points at minus 107 for a half unit as well. More added plays will be coming in the morning. If you fast forwarded right to that bets recap, also gave out 3 leans as well. So thank you guys for listening. As always, I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great Monday. Enjoy some NBA action, and we'll talk to you soon.